What's up, guys? It's time for another Instagram Live, and I'm going to invite a really, really cool guy on with us right now. I'm getting all this set up on here for you. Give me 1 second while I do the invite, and you're going to like what you see. Uh-oh. That's not looking so good. There he is. All right. Icar coming on. Icar means the one who touches the sky. And there he is.
Whoa. Hey, Dave.
Good to see you, man. Mr. Breathwork trainer, sacred space, all sorts of
Yeah.
cool, energetic stuff. What are you up to, my friend?
Yeah, thank you. So it's so good to see you, and we're so excited to have you at the conference. We were like, well, how can we make the most fun conference and put all the people that we love into one room and just talk about cool things? So you and Deepak, we expect to have a really good conversation.
And guys, the conference that we're speaking about here is Modern Alchemy.
Modern Nirvana.
So,
Yeah. Modern alchemy is what we all need.
good God, it is Saturday morning, and I just espresso. But yeah, Modern Nirvana. But like, you are such an alchemist that you're getting my brain scrambled here.
Yeah.
The This is coming up in Austin. What's our date? August
August 14th.
August 14th. And if you guys go to modernnirvana.com, you can hear about this conference. Deepak is going to be there.
Yep.
The Deepak, and the Deepak Chopra, not the other Deepaks. I have like 20 friends named Deepak, so not you might be there too, but you'll be in the audience. That's how it is. So let's walk through your path a little bit here. Like, you're a priest, NLP practitioner, prana shamanic yoga, and just some kind of really esoteric, unusual stuff. And it's a Saturday morning. It's a good time to go a bit esoteric. We got people here from Back to the Earth, which is super cool. I'm just watching all these people. Dana is saying when. This was in August in Austin, August 14th. And D says, Dave, you're acting like I snuck into the back of the class late. No, I'm not. I just have the name of the conference backwards here. But if I sneak into class, I don't really sneak. I just walk in. So I want to know here, breath work. I've had a lot of people talking about breath. Like, I've done my living for years, did a lot of yoga, done my holotropic. What's your take on breath work that's different? Because it's a thing you've built. What's different than like these very old traditions?
I would say, when I started my healing journey, my intention was to bring something authentic, go so deep in my consciousness that I steal it from source. And what came through me was that, yes, we are these vessels that get expressed through, but these vessels are very fine-tuned instruments that we can play and manipulate and expand. So, it always starts with the intention of how can we add more consciousness and more love into an environment. And there is like a technique that I use to keep people very grounded in their heart, get them into a different brainwave, get them into their parasympathetic, right? And then I pull out of them bliss, I pull out of them ecstasy, I activate them internally, and then we process, right? So there's a process called memory reconsolidation when you are in a sense of bliss, peace. That is, so many research has shown that breath work and meditation is a tool to be able to process these traumatic or stressful memories. When you're in that sense of bliss, and then you bring a memory up, and I consciously do that, imagine, someone that hurt you, imagine that first childhood wound, imagine that first moment of contraction, that seed that was planted in you that, wasn't you. When they're able to process that from a state of bliss and groundedness and in their heart, their attachment and their understanding of that memory and their emotional charge goes away. And then you bring them back to the bliss, you bring them back to the expression. So, it's miraculous. I like to hold the container of like miracles can happen in every session, and yet it is a habitual process, which you completely know about. And I have like 1,000 questions about 40 years in Zen, because that is like, what the whole world needs.
Guys, 40 years is in is my neuroscience kind of mystery school program where people spend 5 days with electrodes glued to their head, making their brains do things that would have taken a very many years of meditation. But one of the things that makes me really happy is the ability to say, like, look at your brain. So there'll be a time when I get to look at your brain and say, what superpowers do you have in there that you've developed over the work you've done? Because you've done a huge amount of work on yourself in order to get to where you are, right? It's like very multidisciplinary. Someone's here saying, oh, sound bowls and breath work go together. Let me guess, you've done sound bowl work as well, right?
I've never done sound bowl work.
Exactly. So all these things together, and then it creates this unique code for you.
Yes.
But then looking at your brain, and then looking at the brains of other gurus and meditators and high performers, and whether it's, entrepreneurs or sometimes it's just people who are just healing their trauma and have come a long way, and they might be someone you've never heard of, but they have an inner peace or resilience or power. And then looking at those and what are the commonalities, and how do you make it easier to teach it? So you can take your breathing practice, which is very advanced. You can say, all right, when I'm doing it, there's this one point where like I feel electricity coming up and like it gets stuck at my atlas. Yeah. And if I do this one thing and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you turn into an alien, you grow tentacles or whatever.
I knew it.
Yeah. But like, that's yours, but it's to show you the path, because meditation is a very long path. I'm lazy. I wanted it to be shorter. Yeah. So
Richard Davidson did, this is one of my questions I was really curious of asking you. Richard Davidson did the research on the monks on compassion that were meditating for 20 years. And then he analyzed people that, learned how to meditate on compassion for like a week. And then, and see how the brainwaves changed through people that were advanced meditation. So when you're analyzing yours now, what level of gamma waves, like, have you seen like a drastic difference of like, and then also everyone that's listening, the gamma wave is the brainwave that goes off when you have an aha moment. So what I'm assuming is Dave is just living in aha moments all day.
Well, it's hard to live in state all day because our bodies are cyclical, right? And you know this because sometimes you're in your floating meditation downloading state, and sometimes you're a focused people, like, and you wouldn't want to be in just one state. But what the gift is from a regular breathing practice is to be able to turn on the states when you need them.
Love that.
Quickly than you wanted to. And most neuroscientists will tell you that you can't neurofeedback train gamma. And gamma, guys, when we talk about brain states, alpha, theta, gamma, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like if I say you should eat more protein, you're like, yay. And you go, yeah, I didn't tell you it was spider venom. And you're like, oh. Or, there's lots of plant toxins like sarin nerve gas is a plant-based protein. So like maybe we should be a little bit more discerning. So you don't really want to turn on any of these brain states unless you turn it on in the right part of the brain in concert, in symphony with other parts of the brain. And so that's where it becomes a little bit less simplistic. But with gamma, when you have the lower, more peaceful brain states, gamma is like a surfer riding on those, right? And so it's harder to train that because you have to have the core state and then you have to create the surfer on the state. And what I see in the brain results of people doing the program is that they do learn to increase the strength of their surfer over the course of the week. So we can actually see higher gamma, and it gets to be something that you can turn on demand. So if you and I were sitting down brainstorming, saying, I need a name for my new breathing practice, I would go into some weird state I don't have a name for, and I would grok it and be like, oh, here's the
you grok it, yes. May you always drink deeply, my brother.
I don't usually talk about this stuff online, but it's one of those things where if you breathe right, you can get into these states. If you practice on a regular basis, any mindfulness practice, you can get there more quickly, but you could practice for 2 hours a day, or maybe there's a way to, measure it and make it faster, or maybe you slept better, or you took a plant medicine, or you took a vitamin fast. Like they all go together. So tell me your 3 things for you that make you go into your state faster.
Oh, that's such a good question. And I really want to know how your breath has been changed based off of the practice too. But it's fascinating. 3 things that have made me able to shift my state instantly to a foundation of peace, and then also like creative focus if I need it. So this morning, and I'm just gonna be completely transparent here. Like I I do a 15-minute Osho shake, so I'm just shaking there with like this really
For
like
15 minutes, you're
just shaking, breathing in and out through my nose. And then
okay.
I do it naked in the sun, right? And I'm just like, and I feel the
Now, because I think we might get more people learning from you if you no. Because
oh,
I saw I saw all these people asking.
oh no.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, it was actually I was doing it to work on my confidence, and then now you're just putting me to the next level.
Like literally for 10 minutes you're or 15 shaking naked in the sun. When you're
Yeah. I have pretty high walls and also some trees. So there's a one attic that I feel like if anyone ever entered, they would have the best show of their life, or be sorely disappointed.
I'm watching comments here and you're driving the nuts. They think you have the best smile
Oh
ever.
my gosh. Oh, thank you. And then everyone that's coming from my team, like Dave is, he's the number one guy in the space. So please follow him and check out everything he's doing. Um, so I have the 15-minute Osho.
Like there. I just want you to know you are loved and apparently lusted after, but that's okay. You're talking about something serious, says Liz. I like to embarrass people occasionally, and I'm doing my best. So
I'm so susceptible to being embarrassed. So
I'm having fun with you, man. All right, so crap.
oh,
That was fun. So you're shaking.
shaking.
You're for 15 minutes. Okay, if you were to teach people how to do this with their clothes on, you're doing rapid nasal breathing, like
Yes.
you're just kind of moving your whole body.
Yeah, mostly my arms down. So imagine you're almost stacking your bones on top of each other with your knees slightly bent, right? And you allow the muscle to kind of just fall off the bone, so all the tension, all the stress just goes off. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Even a little more aggressive to like lose yourself in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As a lazy.
Yeah, yeah. That was me my first try. I was like, plug me up to 40 years of Zen. Actually,
It's actually kind of similar to whole body vibration,
okay.
but when you do it yourself, you're getting lymphatic circulation and there's an electrical stimulation of the fascia, which is really cool. Okay, so 15 minutes of that. What else happens next?
There's a practice called the 10 Tibetans. Imagine 1,000 years ago, a bunch of monks, looking at the sun all together, warrior monks, boom. There's these 10 breaths that are very, very powerful that I do. I specifically do sun and the heart breath. And again, because everything's energy, your ability to focus and manipulate the energy and draw new energy and prana into your body is probably the number one quality that you can have. Because as you know, through breathwork and meditation, your access to higher quantity of consciousness, whatever we want to call it, is why we're doing these things in a way. So I bring, right? So I bring that energy into my heart and I hold it, breath retention. So everyone with the breath retention, that adds like a good amount of stress in your body for expansion. And
Okay,
then
so breathing in for how long? Like how
yeah.
many?
So I'm here, I'm holding the sun. So imagine Dave's the sun, everybody. All right, and then I'm gonna exhale first. And I'm gonna slowly bring him into my heart
Okay.
through the mouth. This one's through the mouth. And everyone, we breathe through the mouth for emotions, to access the Kundalini energy, and then also for big releases. But everything else, we're breathing through the nose.
Okay.
Purification, humidity, all those different things. So, and I bring it into my heart. I hold it, right? I feel the energy from the earth going into my body. Grounding is extremely important. And then I exhale. I do that 7 times. And I'm telling you, after the shaking for 15 minutes and just a few of those breaths, I sit down and I'm in complete silence and I'm just curious of the silence. I focus my awareness on one spot, my breath 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And anyone that is interested in breath work, that's like the rhythm of a very deep meditative breath, a harmonized breath that can access you to, as Dave said, like alien experiences, quoting you on that. And then you rest out for 15 minutes, and there's something completely healing of when you go beyond the layer of conditioning of the human mind and go deep inside yourself. You find your authenticity, you find infinite possibilities, you like the aha moments, and it's your day is miraculous after.
Okay, so you're getting charged up. That was only 2 though, because you do the
That's the
Osho
morning
shake.
practice.
Then, okay, is there a third thing? Oh, that's your morning. Okay, what's your third thing throughout the day?
So throughout the day, so this one is not as decadent and deviant.
Sounds good. All right, chocolate cake, right? You eat a
Chocolate
big
cake.
piece of chocolate cake.
I love chocolate cake so much. No, so this one, let me see. So this one, it's super simple. And I like to mix the esoteric with the like the Yoga Sutras, right? These are 8,000
Yeah.
year old practices that are like profoundly impactful on your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. Create a sacred space. So intentionality is everything. Candles 360 in the room. Um, and I have an altar, and this sounds woo-woo, and there's something to say of a context because your subconscious responds to the things that you put intention into, and when you light an incense or light a candle, it your inner world like is ready to go deep within yourself.
Okay.
So and then I have one candle right in the front, and this is again to intentionality. There's like these access codes. So think about everyone that's listening. Your awareness is this incredible supercomputer. It's your inner God. It's your inner child, and anywhere that you place it, it starts to believe. So we're all learning how to direct this light, this inner God, into different parts of our mind to access different chemicals, vibrations, and different states through learning how to direct this. So I say, Grandfather Fire, I'm the son of Richard Wood and Valerie Blau, you know, and whatever I need to process, and it's like it's a code, right? It's like imagine you're at the gates of heaven, and then you're like, yo, this is me, and I'm ready to experience heaven on earth. So,
Are your parents still alive?
yeah,
Okay, so you're calling in your ancestors, but you're living ancestors, right?
yes,
So that's
yes.
a powerful shamanic technique. So I don't talk about this that much with my followers because I've done some shamanic training with
Oh, you for
Alberto.
sure, yeah.
And when you call in your ancestors, both living and dead, like they'll come in and they'll do stuff, and it's powerful. And I would just caution all of you, and I think you would do the same thing, icar. It's that you want to at least read about how to do this because
Mm,
you can bring in ancestors you don't really like or that don't like you, and there's all sorts of weird multi-generational stuff, but I'll just tell you it's really powerful when you bring them in cleanly, and
yeah.
when you're working with a fire ceremony, there's power in that.
Hmm.
And if you guys think that my success happens only because I'm good at computer science, you guys are wrong, right? And
Mm.
your success as well. Here goes. This is a straight up question. How much of your success in your career do you think comes because of your energetic practices?
So so there's like a golden ratio, and that's an epic question. Everyone should kind of lean into this. There's a really beautiful ratio. It's 9/10 you meditate, you pray, you call in and invoke spiritual sustenance, right? Qualities that you want to embody as if the best version of yourself in the future is giving you the best, like, courage and love and compassion and kindness, sending you that frequency into your body, right? And then 1/10 things that you want to co-create from the most epic, profound state that you can be in, right? The most loving state, right?
Yeah.
A better world for us all, like Dave at Modern Nirvana conference, like speaking with friends that you love, like whatever that is, like it's important to also co-create from a really connected state, but spiritual sustenance always first.
There you go. You guys hear that? So if you're sitting there going, I'm going to hustle, I'm going to grind, I'm going to get it all done. Yeah, you're going to have to work hard. That's fine to work hard. But if you only work hard and you don't do what you just heard from icar, it doesn't work very well, right?
Mm,
It actually doesn't. So I love it that you can go out there and say that. And a lot of the most powerful, most successful people that I know and I admire, they do this, but they don't always talk about it,
mm,
right? They're like, oh, it's kind of like a quiet thing, and leaders like you are willing to come out here and say, oh, yeah, I actually do this.
yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, I wake up every morning and I do a half hour of movement and intention setting exercises with a small group of people over Zoom, right? I practice a 5,000-year-old lineage from China, Dr. Barry Morguelan's work, and I do a bunch of other stuff too. But why do I do that? Because the ROI is really high for me in terms of my family, my businesses, my impact on the world, right? I don't know how to do what I do if I don't do that.
Hmm.
Similar for you? Like if you stopped doing this tomorrow, would you be yourself?
No,
Yeah.
it's authenticity. You lose authenticity. I agree. And
Yeah.
there's this book called The Game of Leela. It's a ancient Indian text, and it says you win this game of life when you can be yourself. And and you nailed it, like we do these practices to empty ourselves of ourselves, to be like washing snow, wash ourselves of ourselves. So when we release ourselves through the breath with these practices and make space for consciousness to come in, you're as you say, like superhuman. Like it's not even, you're connected.
Yeah.
So question, what is your 3 top biohacks right now?
Let me see if I can find one.
Can you show us some stuff in the place? Because that looks just extraordinary.
All right, this is the most important biohack right here.
Oh my God. Is that the coffee?
Espresso.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's just how it's going to have to be. Let's see here. We've got a little bit of gear here. That's kind of cool. I'll turn the light on. And just stuff. And in fact, let me show you something that you're going to like. I don't show this part of the labs as much. This used to be part of my podcast studio back in the day, but I'm going to teach you guys something really cool. All right, this piece of gear right here is the world's oldest hard drive. In 1885, this won an award for the best filing system in North America. They have all these like special drawers. Why would I have this?
Yeah.
Two reasons. One, my phone has about 10 million or maybe 100 million of these inside it right now. This is to remind me, 1885, that was about 150 years ago. I'm going to live longer than that. Okay, this was state of the art. Okay, that can happen. So if you think, oh, you look backwards, no, you got to look forwards. This is a reminder of where we're going and how fast we've progressed in our lifetimes. There are people alive today, only a few of them, who grew up when we still fought wars on horses. Okay, that's how far we've come. But the other thing that I wanted to show you on this, look at these words on here. And I was backwards on Instagram. Can you read those? No, they're all backwards. Yeah. I got 24 drawers. Service, reason, passion, kindness, vitality, soul, strength, discovery, science. I wanted my nervous system to know, what do I have on tap? Like, what do I have unlimited amounts of? And well, those were the things after a lot of writing it down. I said, all right, these are the ones I want. So yeah, do I consciously know those are just drawers? Yeah. Is it kind of cool that my unconscious self believes what I tell it? Yeah. So I have those things on tap, right? I've got a whole cabinet of them, and I can tap into them whenever I want to. It's a really powerful thing. What if you had 24 words or 3 words? What would they be? But that's one of the things I do.
If I had 3 words, what would they be?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, for one, I find it fascinating to then have this conversation again in 200 years with you. I'm pretty stoked about that. Just want to let you know.
It'll be fun.
It'll be so good. We're going to be on Mars together. Okay, so 3 words of how I describe myself, or what I want for humanity, or what are
the 3 words that you would want to know you have most on tap. Unlimited amounts of you want them.
That's healing, just to bring that question into my awareness. I really resonated when you said soul, and the soul that's in all things, like the Atman and the Brahman, like the big soul, like,
yeah,
yeah. I think that's the only way you could have soul on tap, is if you're in that soul.
Yeah.
I would say that soul, and then I would say humor.
Cool.
I'm really enjoying your humor. I think, like, to be the most intelligent person in the world, great. To have that kind of humor, that makes the world great. And then 3, I would say, love, man. Just so much love, like endless amount of, fill me.
All right. So then the question, how do you tell your cells, or tell your body that you have those on tap?
I think I would place soul in front of me and breathe that in. I'd place soul to the right of me and breathe that in. I'd place soul to the left of me and breathe that in, put it behind me, above me, below me, inside me. And I would just like breathe that in and become soul. And then do that for humor and love.
It's the breathing you're talking about is so powerful. You guys can place something in your hand and breathe it in, and it totally works.
Yeah.
One thing that you can also breathe in is bacon, because like when people start typing in all caps in the comments, are you watching this? Guys,
stop eating pork. What the hell? Oh, no.
Culture farm, just full disclosure here. I'm building soil to capture carbon and to treat animals with kindness, because the animals poop and they make soil, which makes really good veggies. I have 25 pigs on my farm, and I serve them in my restaurant here on Vancouver Island, and 25 sheep and a bunch of chickens. And my bacon kicks ass and is from clean pigs that were treated well. So if you want to type in all caps that Dave eats pork, yeah, I eat pork. And if that means I'm going to hell, I'm going there with bacon off my, and I'll send you love from there. There we go. I love
Nice. Thank you for acknowledging the trolls. I think that's more important than
they need, like, they really do. They're the people who are bullied in 5th and 6th grade. They never got over it, and now they type in all caps, and it's very sad.
Yeah. Also, everyone, if you just asked Dave a question that you wanted to know of from a grounded place, I'm sure he would answer that and give you a deep reason like he just did, you know, so you don't have to troll. And it affects everybody online. Like, it's not nice to do that.
We don't need to spread hate and bullying.
Yeah,
He went all lowercase, which was really good. So, here's the deal, guys. We can all disagree, and as a matter of fact, there are some people, breathing exercises may totally not work for you the way they work for icar, the way the different ones work for me. And if you try them and they don't work, it's okay. And maybe, you know, eating grass-fed healthy animals doesn't work for your biology. There aren't a lot of people like that, but there are probably some. And you know what? Okay, then be vegan, but like, just try it without a charge on it, right?
yeah,
If I'd have been as smart as you are, I would have started this earlier in my life. Like, because I'm a computer science guy. I'm from Silicon Valley, right? You know, my grandparents were PhD scientists, and so I'm like, why would anyone do yoga or acupuncture or any of that stupid stuff? It's because they're idiots. Like, literally, this is how I was raised.
oh wow.
And it's like, I'm just gonna try all this stuff. It's supposed to work. It doesn't work, and then you say, I'm gonna see what does work. Right. And I've been a raw vegan for a long time. Right. And like, it didn't sick. So I'm like, I don't know. But if we have dogma instead of feeling, then we can evolve. And one thing I like about what you're doing is you've really evolved. You look at the path you've walked, all the different traditions, to see what worked for you. And for listening, it's what works for you. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to follow icar. You can learn from us without making us into your gurus, right? And so almost every guru that I know, the ones I know personally, they don't want to be gurus. They're doing to help you, but they want you to learn, and they're willing to let you learn from them, and you can follow them, but you make them the gurus. They don't make themselves the gurus. And it's so important to understand that. And it's okay if you go, I'm going to follow this lineage until I'm done. And then we'll follow this lineage, and we can mix and match and do fusion cuisine. I don't know. I think that's how you grow.
Yeah, I'm with you. Everything's seasonal, you know. Every practice is seasonal, you know, in a way, and that's just showing you that what you're doing is working and you're expanding. So there's a lot of wisdom there. And I also want to touch on, like, some of the best gurus help you learn from yourself. They're not telling you that they're a guru.
So which guru or which person have you sat with who, like, you know, held up their hands and sent lightning bolts out and like totally out of your body or something like that?
You know who actually did that, which I was really completely surprised by, and I think it's a testament to the quality of how he speaks, is Michael Beckwith. I interviewed him, and we threw the largest meditation in U.S. history in Denver, Colorado, with the Art of Living Foundation and Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And Michael was there speaking and opening for Sri Sri, and I was like, hey, can I interview for whatever I was doing for something, and he just grabbed his one hand, and before I could say another word, he electrocuted me in the back, and he was gonna electrocute me with his hand, and I was like, I couldn't speak anymore. It took my words out, and he just like started, like, you know, he channeled whatever he wanted to channel for the question. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
I know Michael and Sri Sri. I don't know either of them super well, but like have spent time in their, you know, with them. They're both powerful guys, but I didn't know Michael could do that just straight up without a little dose of ayahuasca ahead of time.
I mean, who knows? He runs the whole Rhythmia program.
Michael Beckwith runs Rhythmia now? Is that new?
So he has there's like a health and wellness program for miracles, and he helped design it.
Oh, he helped design it. Okay. I don't think he runs it. Okay. Very cool.
No.
I on a while ago. So just for full teaching on this Instagram Live, look, you could put me or icar up on a pedestal, but there are people who have the ability to just be like, boom, electrocute you with their hands and stuff like that. Right. And we've both experienced that kind of a thing. And it's pretty cool. So if your worldview is a little bit smaller than that, it's like, hey, stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to take a question from the audience here from Jedi Alchemist?
I think he's directing it to me, to be honest.
All right.
What's your take on toxic positivity existing with the modern spiritual space? Real projected interest is to hear your thoughts. So let's say that there's stages to this game, right? There's levels, and obviously we wouldn't have it any other way. It keeps things interesting. Toxic positivity is something that you awaken into at one level, right? You get a glimpse of samadhi, you get a glimpse of peace, you start loving everything. This is highly accessible through medicines. Also, I'm not here to push medicines. Think for yourself, decide for yourself. I'm accessible through meditation, through breathwork. Like all of a sudden, a lot of love can naturally arise within you. This is not everlasting, and it's not the end goal, and it's not the what you want to feel for the rest of your life. Because we choose this human experience, we chose all the versions of love, and that's the fear, the hatred, the sadism, whatever that is. It's all a version of the divine that we came here in this curriculum to experience and expand into. So then what happens is you start to, instead of worry about what's contracting you and staying away from it, so you can be in that constant state of love and toxic positivity, which is, again, a layer on top of what's actually going on, because we all have something that can be faced in relationships to food, sleep, sex. You know what I mean? Everyone came here because we have all of a certain level of a problem with it, or something less productive with it. When you're able to face the unconscious things that are ruling your life, your darkness, your like deep sorrow, your reason why you don't like someone randomly, or that, you know, you perceive the world in your perception in general, you know what I mean? Your entire perception of a reality. When you're able to dive into the depths of your sorrow and your contraction, your relationship with your lack, your selflessness, or your selfishness, whatever that is, that's where you reclaim your power back in this game of humanity. So anything that contracts you, when you're able to lean into it, right? Feel it fully, not fucking breathe into it and heal yourself. Feel it, go into it, exhale into it, feel it, cringe, you know what I mean? And then expand. That's when I feel like you're actually participating in this game.
Well said. In fact, a lot of Tantra, a lot of those practices are around taking like the dark and the uncomfortable and making them divine, because
Mm-hmm.
the you can't have light without dark. And if you ignore the dark, so you can be like, oh, it's all light, it's all light, the dark will do mean shit to you. You have to have full awareness of both sides, charge on either one. That's non-duality, and that's ability to operate in the world as it is. Because let's face it, you're never going to kill the dark or the light, because if you did, the other one would stop existing. And that's the annoying spiritual stuff. There's certain times like I'd like just to punch whatever that thing is in the face. It just doesn't work. So you have to like learn to work with it. And that's the toxic positivity is, oh, I'll just ignore the bad stuff. And in that case, the bad stuff will pretty much take you over. So
Mm-hmm.
you always, that's
and
that
I
would
was that for most of my life, everyone. And I have a certain level of toxic positivity in me, 100%. Like I can easily see everything as love, and I obviously love everyone. And if I don't like someone, I have now learned to really not like that person and feel it, and then also learn how to love them through fully feeling the fact that I don't like what they did. Like,
there you go.
you know,
And you love someone and be like, and you're untrustworthy and you're out of my life, right?
ooh,
Even
go into that. Go into that.
my friends. And this is, I think, something all people learn in our 20s and early 30s. Is just like healthy boundaries. We learned whatever we learned as kids from our parents. So it's pretty interesting where we end up as we work through those boundaries and saying, okay, I'm going to put those in place. I'm going to see the good in someone. I'm also going to see that, you know, they might be good, but they're going to stab me in the back. If they're in my space, they're out of my space permanently. And that you're a bad person, right? That actually means you're a clean person. So that took me a while to learn. And sometimes
So,
it's
question:
painful.
how much of your philosophy restructured because of the states of consciousness that you've reached?
Probably all of it at a point. I mean, it's easy to just live life and say everything's a spreadsheet, right? Like I'm a computer science guy. It's like tree tables, like, you know, everything has a bucket, but you realize that life is linear, right? So
Mm.
it doesn't have to be 0 or 1. It can be anywhere in the middle. Everything's a sliding scale,
Mm.
right? That's a problem. And then you get into this idea that, wait a minute, it's possible for something to be both yes and no at the same time. And that's actually what a quantum state is, without doing
Mm.
that weird sciencey. Everything is quantum. If I made it with chia seeds, that's what I'm talking about. About like the quantum biology, which is a real field that you can get a PhD in, where you realize, wow, most of our bodies are inside our cells can be in yes, no, and maybe. And
Mm-hmm.
how in your own mind be in yes, no, and maybe simultaneously look at it as a Excel spreadsheet and a weird mystical jumble of, drumming sounds, and not be freaked out by both being true at the same time. Then you've got there. And for me to get to that state allowed me to be a lot more present in all of my decisions, I would say.
That's so fascinating. What so because that's so important for people to grok. There's like the negative, the neutral, and the positive thoughts, and that's from the Vedas. And I'm sure you have a deeper understanding from a quantum biology level. How do you have your first impulse be the correct discernment? Like, for example, we are not our thoughts, but how have you learned to fully trust your thoughts? Because that is like a superpower.
I don't think you can ever fully trust your thoughts.
Okay.
And because your thoughts happen a quarter second after your feelings.
Ooh.
And and this is provable, okay? I have a neuroscience company where we can measure this. This
Yeah.
is not
Tell
right.
them.
So what happens is, example, you lean against a hot stove accidentally, and you pull your hand away before you get burned. You go, good thing I pulled my hand away. Except you didn't pull your hand away. Something pulled your hand away, and you took credit for it. So something, whatever that thing is that pulled it away, that's in there, and it's making decisions that you didn't get to make. And you take credit for its decisions automatically because you think it's you. And the name for that, well, I'm a computer guy. It's the meat operating system. And a psychologist, psychotherapist would call it your ego. And a spiritual person would call it your dark side, the matrix, all sorts of words like that. But it's all coming from the same place. There's an automated system in place that isn't you in your body that makes you do shit that you then feel guilty about. It also generally influences your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example, you're driving in traffic, someone cuts you off. And immediately you're like, why did that asshole cut me off? Right? And, maybe they weren't an asshole. Maybe they were driving to the hospital to make it to the birth of their child, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So why did the thoughts happen in your head? If you trust your thoughts, you've allowed that to come in. So what you want to do is you want to feel your gut, right? Feel your heart, right? And look at your thoughts and compare the two. And when there's a line, something's good. And when your heart says yes, your thoughts say no, your thoughts are probably wrong and you need to double check. But when your yes and your gut says no, the gut's always right. And if you just did that, every investment you make, every date you went on, every friendship you made, job you took would be 10 times better than you think it is.
This is the golden thread of how to make the most out of this human experience. So I really hope everyone's listening to this. Just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch this later. Because in Buddhism, I went into that for a little bit. You learn, or your goal is to walk righteously, and what that means is righteous thoughts, righteous actions, righteous words, right? And align kind of everything, the mind, body, soul, righteously, whatever that means. And to be able to have a process to do that instantaneously is powerful.
It is powerful. And I believe that modern nirvana is going to be powerful. You guys want to see us live at an event? You definitely want to show up for us in Austin in middle of August. modernnirvana.com. Icar, thanks for being on. Appreciate all your work to explore the weird and the powerful and to share with others.
Dave, such an honor. And we actually created a unique code for 30% off, Dave30. If you want to come to the conference website, it's in link in my bio. Would love to see you all there. Dave, you're a genius. It's been so delightful, my friend.
It's been a pleasure for me as well. I just posted the code for people. And I will see you at the conference if we don't talk first.
Okay. Much love.
All right. See you guys. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.